Hi, friends. It's Ricco McAdory here, and I want to talk to you a moment about uh, things won't move until you do, or you must take the first step. Be transparent with you. There are times I still would like to have things already mapped out. I would like all the lights green before I actually move forward, but unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that. Anything I've done or God has had me do, it has required me to move without all of the instructions clear or without all the things I would like to have mapped out. And so I've had to trust him even when I could not trace him. I know it sounds cliche-ish, but it's actually the truth. Because faith, if you could see everything before you moved, is that faith? No. But here's the thing, fear will try to paralyze us into believing that we have to have all the facts and everything in order before we step. And how many times have we been given something or instructed to follow our assignment, but it just seems like logic, fear comes in to be like, you know what, you got to have this before you move. You got to do more research and even more research before you move. And you've done the research and you're like, well, you know what? I need to read a little bit more. No, that's just fear disguised as I need to be wise. How many times has God instructed us to step forward, but we've hesitated to step forward because it didn't look as safe as we thought it was? It looked risky. But here's the thing about it. Most of the people in the Bible, God instructed them to do things that they didn't always see, but they actually were revealed as they took the first step. You see, if I have to have everything in front of me, then I allow comfort to steal the courage I need to step forward. And I'm going to give you a scenario. It's a story that happened to me some years ago. I was United States Navy back in May of 2000 to May of 2004. And I was in the boot camp in Great Lakes, Chicago. And it was in the spring, definitely was not in the cold, thank God. And it was week 5, and we had to learn how to swim. I thought when they asked us the question, who could swim, the people that raised their hand, they went over there to the 12-foot deep end of the pool. They had to jump off of a 10-foot high platform, and they had to float for 2 minutes. And then they asked who couldn't swim, or those who didn't raise their hand that they could swim. We were automatically put into the 3-foot end of the pool from start to finish. It was only 3 feet deep down and back. And we had to float or backstroke, relax in the water on our back. I mean, people struggled. I struggled. It wasn't funny then, but I look back at it now, it's kind of funny. And then what we thought, we got away not having to go to the deep end of the pool. Wrong. Yes, we did. And what they did after we got done doing the backstroke, they said, hey, all of you now, we're going to send you over there to the 12-foot end of the pool. You got to jump off the diving board or the platform. I'm like, what? In my mind. I didn't say it out loud because we couldn't. But in my mind, I'm like, what? And the next thing I know, we walk over to the diving board, platform high. I'm like, this is high. And then going 12 feet deep, I'm like, oh my gosh. Each step we take going to the platform, going up the platform, you get a little nervous. And what I noticed was the guy in front of me was so scared. I mean, let me stick a pen and say this right here. Fear can paralyze. And what happened? This guy was paralyzed. He was panicking. He panicked so bad. They were like, jump. I mean, you had an instructor on this side and I think one on this side. And the guy is there, he's like leaning like this and he's shaking and he's shivering like he's cold and like, jump. And he wouldn't jump. I believe they pushed him in. And so what that did for me was, yes, I was afraid. I was in fear. Yes, I was confronted with fear. But I decided that, okay, you all are not going to have to do that to me. You're not going to have to scold me to jump. I'm just going to go ahead and jump. And that's exactly what I did. Fear and all, I stepped up to the platform, put my hand over my nose, and I jumped. But they told us that if you jump in this pool, in this 12-foot deep pool, we're going to, unlike everybody else who can swim, who had to float for 2 minutes or tread water, you're not going to have to do that, but we're going to send a pole out or reach a pole out to you. If you pull this pole, we're going to leave you in there. So can you imagine the pressure of having to jump from that high? And then normally you would like to panic and you want to get rescued quick and jerk the pole. But no, we had to be calm. What I learned in that situation was it's not a matter of faith or fear. I believe it's faith in the face of fear. People think also the same thing or something similar. It's success or failure. But I believe that there are times you got to walk through the failure to actually embrace the success or the significance. That's basically saying you're going to slip up at times, even when you step forward. Even when you're being obedient, it's going to seem like you're going to wonder, did I make the right decision? What am I actually doing? Why am I taking this step? Why do I feel like, oh, I don't know if I made the right move? See, a lot of times, because we're not familiar with where we're going and we've been accustomed to where we've been, we assume that where we've been looks like where we're going. And so we have this false illusion that the comfort of where I am right now on the shore should be the exact same thing as when I step forward into the new place. But I heard a title of a book some years ago, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. In other words, thank God for what you've accomplished or what's happened thus far. But there's a deeper and a higher dimension you got to grow and stretch to that's going to be more inconvenient than you would like, but you're going to really be appreciative that you did say yes. I'll say it this way. It's easier to want the answers given to you. And yes, at times I want the answers given to me. But what I have found is, especially in the climate that we're in and the change that is taking place, is forcing me to be creative. It's forcing me to sell or to produce something that may not all the way be fully ready, but produce the value of it and communicate it before it's ready. Because now the skill of sales, I've got to learn how to listen and communicate and connect with the people with the messaging of what I have that could help them. So that by the time my product or service does come out, it's been communicated properly instead of me having to spend all the time trying to get it perfect, because you will never really get it perfect. I think the saying is that done is better than perfect. And basically, to me, what I've learned is when it's done, it may not be all that you thought, but it's really testing the market or really getting a litmus test or an assessment of what it is that you have, and is it really viable? Is it really valuable? Not just in your eyes, but in the eyes of the people that you're making it for. And so sometimes, you're going to be challenged to launch something or pre-launch something that you think is not ready, but God says, yeah, it's ready. I'll leave this with you. Sometimes we believe that we have this assumption, and I have, and I've dealt with, and sometimes still deal with it. But here's how you know it's God. And versus your own voice or your own ambition versus God's assignment. Here's how you know the difference. If it's you and your own ambition, first of all, you're not going to pray about it. You're just going to be like, okay, it's something simple to do. I'll go ahead and do it. Fine. But when it's God and he's opening up a new door or telling you to step after he's He said, yes, write the blueprint, write the vision, right? And you're thinking, okay, this is what's going according to plan. Then he changes it up and be like, okay, it's time to go. Let's step now. You're like, wait a minute. Whoa, wait. It's not done yet. Wait. But God says you're ready. But you're debating saying, I don't know if I'm ready. Who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the fear or the comfort zone that you've settled for? Or are you going to have the courage to believe him and trust him even when it doesn't make sense? This is not a religious cliche. It's a revelational truth. Because there's something inside of you that must be released now and planted into the earth for those that God has designed that which you carry to impact. And if you decide to stay in the boat or stay in what's comfortable to you, the people that are waiting for what you have to help them get free, they can stay in bondage. God's entrusted you with so much more than what you even think. There are things that you don't even imagine that God's releasing or has put in on the inside of you. And you thought it was just cute when you were writing that vision down or having those notes, those things in your mind, just writing them in a notebook. No, that was actually God really writing to you, giving you the vision, and you were actually writing it, making it plain. And you thought it was just something you'll get to one day. And guess what? That one day has shown up today. Or has probably shown up, but what it is, you want it to come comfortably like what you've been accustomed to, and it's not coming that way. Like you want it to be handed to you. You want someone to hand you money, but they're not going to hand you money, or the money's not going to be accessible the way you think, just sitting there waiting for it to show up, because you got to take the first step. That's what this is all about. You have to take the first step. God has done his part. Now it's a matter of you getting aligned with what's already done. Because if you don't get aligned with what's already done, then you're going to take your own strength and try to go out of ambition to try to twist God's arm to bless what you want him to do, or bless what you want him to bless, because it makes sense to you when God is calling you higher to get in alignment with your assignment. I'm Ricco McAdory. I pray this bless you today. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. And if you haven't subscribed, hey, go ahead and do that. More great videos to come. I look forward to seeing you on the next time. Bye for now.